Welcome back, everybody, to Reactivated. And you know what, I was just thinking today, that it's nearly 10 years since the reboot was announced of Robot Wars. Nearly 10 years. I was thinking, oh my goodness me, where on earth is time going? And on top of that, it's not only 10 years nearly since the reboot was announced, but to this very Friday, 25 years ago, Chaos 2 lifted the title for the first time in Series 3. 25 years ago. Oh goodness me, it makes you sound really old, doesn't it? It's insane. It used to be brilliant though on a Friday night. You came in after school. It used to be a double bill of The Simpsons, and followed by Robot Wars. I just remember that. That was so good. And then of course, Saturday, I'm digressing here. We'll get to stuff, I promise, a bit later. And then Saturday, of course, for me, it was a big break on BBC One and Jim Davidson's Generation Game. It was so good. I used to love Robot Wars, certainly, of course, and Jim Davidson's Generation Game. It used to be the highlight for me on the Saturday night with all the slosh, Mr. Blobby. I mean, I'm going off here, but whoever else remembers that lineup, when the BBC used to do good stuff, there we can see. And now, 25 years later, since, Chaos 2 lifted the crown for the first time, we're sitting here talking about it as if it's a distant memory somewhere over there. And it is. It really is. So, there we go. Let's see what we have now on this edition of Reactivated. We start with, of course, the return of the fantasy fight. Now, what we're going to do this time is we're going to have 6 one-to-ones. The winner of each will go through to an Annihilator at the end of the series. So there we go. We might get time, actually, to do a couple. So, pencil cases out, completely random. Robots from Series 1 through to 10. Our first robot is... Oh! I can't believe it. Series 1 champion Roblox versus... Who remembers this pencil case from school? There we go. Versus... Oh, goodness me. Anarchy from Series 6. Remember Anarchy? Wow, Roblox versus Anarchy. Now that is a battle of, I don't know, the generations, isn't it? Because Roblox dominated the first couple of series. Anarchy, yes, the step up from 101, with probably the best walker I think we ever did see in Robot Wars, to be honest. There were very little robots who could move as fast with the effective weaponry and the flipper. So it's a bit of a clash of generations here. I'd give this to Anarchy. So Anarchy goes through. I think there is time for another one. Let's see, another 2 robots head to head. Again, it could be any series, any time. Oh, okay. Lightning from Extreme 2 and Series 7 did very well in Series 7. Of course, lost to gravity, as we all remember. And Lightning will be against. Okay, you might not be able to see that, but that is Nuts from Series 8, 9, and 10. Lightning against Nuts. How do you even compare here? Lightning certainly the more controlled, the more compact, looked good, but Nuts was just nuts, wasn't it? I mean, it was totally out of control. But of course had the addition of the robots, the little bitty robots, more like a cluster, like a team, wasn't it, Nuts? With the flail spinning out of control. I don't know, what would you give this? I think for entertainment value, we're going to give this to Nuts because I think they'll do well in the Annihilators. There we go. Anarchy and Nuts are through to the Annihilator. Now, we are going to move on to, we're not going to do bot bit, we're going to do Soundbot. Do you like that? Soundbot? Soundbit? Bit? Soundbot. Yes, that's right. You're going to hear some audio now, and I need to know the series and the fight that Jonathan Pierce is commentating to. Have a listen.
Oh, Redbot, what are you doing? Redbot! That is dreadful. Where do we go from here? I'm asking the man who knows the rules.
Okay, there we go. So answer will be revealed later on in Reactivated. What was Jonathan Pierce commentating to? We want the fight, of course, the robots, in question and the series as we move on to a floor flipper. Okay, so this is the part of the show, of course, where we get to a floor flipper, and there's an obvious mistake featured in this particular heat. And of course, the result will end up in a robot being flipped by the floor flipper. But the mistake here is, why was Hypnodisc fighting Atomic in the second round of Series 5? This is the only fight where, when the seeds were introduced, it happens that the two seeds met in the second round. Now, if you notice from Series 4, 5, 6, 7... whenever there were two seeds in a heat, they would, if they managed to survive the heat, they would meet in the heat final. They would never cross paths in the round 2. In the other fight, it was Lamsey versus Bulldog Breed 3. I mean, okay, Bulldog Breed was a good robot, but really, you had Atomic and Hypnodisc fighting, and it's a really good job that Hypnodisc won this, because I think this is probably one of the trickiest fights Hypnodisc was in Series 5, because Atomic did flip Hypnodisc, and thank God that self-righting mechanism worked, because we could have been in for a shock, because of course we know how much of a good robot Atomic turned out to be. But I don't know what was going through the producers' minds, or whoever was in charge of the draws, but this fight should never have happened in Series 5. So, I mean, Hypnodisc against Lamsey, maybe they wanted a bit of the damage factor, the Atomic's weapon was a bit flimsy at the time, but really, this should not have been a draw. So what do we do with floors? We flip them! Sorry, Atomic, off you go, that's right. As we move on to a bit of merchandise memories. Eagle-eyed viewers would know that I based Cassius 2, our Cassius 2 that featured in our Series 6, 7 and 8, we used Firestorm's shell. And as you can see here, Firestorm is back to its original design, the toy, how it came. And you're thinking, alright, well, where's Cassius? I sadly, for this review, as you can see here, had to get rid of Cassius 2. The shell, the paper, of course, that we used to make it look like it was Cassius, sadly is no more. And he is now back to Firestorm, as you can see here. So, Firestorm was the first robot of this next batch that you could get. This, of course, Longer Wheelie Big Cheese. It was available back in December, well, late 2002. And for me, the look of the robot is great. It's fantastic. For me, what annoys me is the ground clearance. Because if you notice, when you're on the surface, the ground clearance is like it's a good half a centimetre off the ground. And we resorted a lot of the times to try to filing the end here with some paper. So you see in some of the series that we did later on with Firestorm is that we did try to get over the ground clearance issue with that. And it did kind of work, but to be honest, it was quite underwhelming, because at the time you had to kind of tilt Firestorm so it could get underneath a robot. It just didn't quite work. Again, like I said, looked great. The pullback mechanism was fine. And of course, like with every toy available, as you can see here, the original card that Firestorm did come with. There we go, the flames. It's like a flame turret, something like that, where the shoot. And again, and I think by this point in the series, they had already come up with pretty much everything they could think of when it came to accessories, like all the items from the pinball. So at this point, I think they were just making it up as they went along, and it's what will happen as we continue on our review in this batch. And be thinking, where were these featured in the series? And for me, what you can see underneath here, it's the two little caster wheels at the front that let this machine down. If they just maybe get the caster wheels went more into the body, you didn't even really need them because you had the two wheels. But there we go, Firestorm, a lovely looking robot, of course based on the series 5 through to 7 design of Firestorm. Great looking toy. I'd rate this a solid 7 out of 10. It certainly wasn't the worst toy you could get. So there we go, Firestorm. Let's move over to your questions. Right, so as we put Firestorm back on its pedestal, there we go. Fantastic. There's just quickly time to go back to Soundbot. At the start of the show, you heard this.
Oh, Redbot, what are you doing? Redbot! That is dreadful. Where do we go from here? I'm asking the man who knows the rules.
And yes, if you said, of course, Redbot driving into the pit in Series 6 with the tetanus and raging reality fight, you'd be right. Well done. So more Soundbot very soon, but now we go to your questions. This is from, let's have a look. I'm going to need glasses shortly, goodness me. Wargames25. Do you think we'll ever see the return of Robot Wars on TV? Oh, yes. Well, I mentioned before, you know, the nearly 10 years since we heard about this reboot of Robot Wars coming back. Never say never. It's like, you know, there was talk at one point, wasn't there, on after the series had been cancelled a second time, that, you know, Netflix or Amazon would pick up the series, a bit like Top Gear. Remember when BBC dropped it and Amazon picked it up? And of course, you know, you've got to look at the success of BattleBots as well. I mean, that's been going for years, and it's still entertaining. Okay, I've voiced what I think about BattleBots. It's a great series, and I admire the longevity of that series. But I think, yes, at some point we'll get Robot Wars back. Another question here. Will we see the return... Oh, War Games again! Sorry. There we go, War Games again. Will we see the return of your series, our series? Okay, well, short-term answer is no. And I know I really regret saying that. I've really tried not to say anything like that on the channel. But unfortunately for us now, I mean, I'm left with just one person that is behind the camera. Everyone is now married, they've moved on, they've got kids. And the last episode that we did film, of course, was the Champion Chomp-a-Lot. Funnily enough, we were filming that episode, and if we'd filmed the episode a week after, there would have been no episode, because my friend who I was filming with, who was controlling all the robots, his wife gave birth a few days after that episode was filmed, and I was editing the episode as my friend's kid was in hospital, you know. So we were very lucky to get that episode, and it was a bit of an alarm bell realization moment where you're thinking, oh my goodness me, yeah, things change, you know. Unfortunately, I don't have the team anymore that I used to have to film these shows that we love. So there is your answer there, War Games. Thank you very much. And there is the cease. There you go, two questions. There you go, War Games. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for Reactivated. Please like, share, subscribe, download. We love making this little series. And, of course, more reviews, more memories, more archive moments that will be relived in the next episode. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.